Let me welcome you to the 13th lecture of NPTEL online certification course Underground Mining of Metalliferous Deposits. We are discussing about the developmental work required for accessing the mineral deposits, and we are discussing about the audit. In last class we have seen the different developmental work required to access the deposit, and that time we have covered the surface to underground accesses, we have covered the underground to underground accesses in a level, and we have considered also the accesses between the levels in the underground. So, these are the different classifications of the developmental accesses, and finally, we have started the discussion about the construction of adit, and we have seen the already how we will decide the size, shape and location of the access are already discussed in the previous lecture. So, this is the second and final lecture on the adit, in which we will discuss the construction procedure of the adit. Now, let us have a look into the learning background required for the participant of this course. These are the set learning objectives of the NPTEL online certification course of underground mining of metalliferous deposit. These are the expected learning outcomes from the participants, and these are some of the text and reference books participant can follow apart from these lectures also. And these are the set learning objectives for these lectures on adit: to understand the access to the deposit, to excavate the underground mining, to understand the adit as the horizontal access, and to learn the method of construction of adit. So, up to first 2 points we have discussed in the previous lecture. Now, in this lecture we will discuss about the method of construction of the adit. So, if we are considering the method of extraction of the adit, adit can be constructed either using a discrete method or a continuous excavation method or a semi-continuous excavation method. What is the meaning of this? The meaning of this is basically that in the discrete method we have to excavate in different unit operations. What are those unit operations? And these operations are disjointed. So, that is why it is called discrete operation. These operations may be one kind of these operations may be drilling, blasting, or we can have cutting also, we can have large diameter drilling also, then it can be material can be taken out by mucking, then the material can be transferred. These are the main excavation operations carried out, and the auxiliary operations required in this excavation of the adit, or in this case we need to go for roof scaling. So, after blasting we have to scale the roof, so that any loose material cannot drop on the head of the mining personnel. We have to provide the roof support, so that it will not collapse. We can extend the lighting fittings, we can extend the ventilation ducts which are providing the fresh air in the operating phase. We have to extend the other installations like electrical installations, air pipes, extension of air pipes, etc., and we have to extend the drainage facilities, so that the water, percolated water coming out from the underground or any water is used for operation, that can be drained out from the phase. So, these are the main unit operations required in the excavation of the adit, and as we have discussed the discrete method, we can adopt different unit operations: drilling, blasting, loading. We are discussing only about the excavation operations, not auxiliary operations here. So, when we are having discrete excavation operations like drilling, blasting, loading, transportation, where separate unit operations are carried out and these are disjointed operations, but followed in a sequence. Say first drilling has to be carried out, then blasting, then loading, then transportation. It is carried out in a sequence, but it is disjointed operation, then it is called a discrete operation. In continuous method of excavation, where the continuous mechanized excavators are used, which is continuously taking out the material, and simultaneously the material, excavated material, is also transported using a continuous transporting system, then the method is called continuous excavation method. And semi continuous, basically the combination of these two, where either we are continuously excavating, but we are adopting the discrete loading and transportation system, or we are using a discrete excavation system, then we are continuously transporting the material with a continuous transporting system, that is semi continuous system. So, basically it is adopting the combination of the continuous and discontinuous method. If you compare these two, continuous method is very fast method, as the progress you will get in a continuous method of excavation is very high. Continuously material is excavated. So, that is why the performance is very high, and this is very cheap procedure also. But the problem is that the moment you have to stop one operation, you have to stop the other one also. So, these are interlinked. Stopping, that means any maintenance was carried out in this, the operation of this will also stop, or any maintenance was carried out in this will stop the operation of this one. This is the problem with the continuous system, but here these are disjointed, but as it is disjointed, this is time consuming also, because you have to provide some intermittent time between the operations. Say drilling has to be carried out, then the drill machine has to be withdrawn, mining personnel will be withdrawn, then only the blasting people will come, they will carry out the blasting. So, there are time required in this, and that is why performance observed is in general very low. And semi continuous is basically a compromisation between these two can be made with this attempt of semi continuous method. In general, it is found with the discrete method of excavation, almost 30 meter to 50 meter progress can be achieved in a month, whereas in a continuous method up to 100 meter or more than that length can be progressed in a month using the continuous method of excavation. So, this is very important while we are considering the method of excavation. The progress time is very important, because all this construction, edit, etc., these are basically developmental work, and this comes under the gestation period, where we are basically spending money, but there is no return, because unless and until development is complete, we cannot get the ore, and unless and until we are getting the ore, we cannot sell it to the market. So, only on selling of the ore in the market we will get the return. So, earliest getting return is very important, and for that faster development is the essential need. So, that is why we give more stress on the faster development, and that is why the consideration of the faster developmental excavation procedure is important. Now, if we are considering about the discrete method, we have to carry out drilling, and the possible machineries are jumbo drill or handheld drill. Jumbo drill is the machine drill, where we can use multiple jumbo boom. Even if the current technology 8 boom jumbos are also available, there are 8 holes can be drilled simultaneously. Blasting pattern can be adopted here is wedge cut or burn cut. Mostly these two are the popular design of blasting. We will discuss the details of this wedge cut pattern and burn cut pattern in the horizontal drivages section, where we will discuss in detail in after few class. Then the loading can be carried out either LHD, load haul dump, or a side discharge loader, or a cavo loader. This type of loaders can be used for taking the muck, and transportation can be carried out either using a mine car or using the haulage system. We can use locomotive also, we can use shuttle cars also, or we can use low profile dump trucks if it permits the dimension. So, these are the possible equipments, and this is a glimpse of this is the burn cut. You can see where an empty hole is kept, which act as the free face for the nearby holes, and this is a figure of the 4 square cut burn cut, and here all the holes are drilled horizontally and parallel to each other. So, these are horizontal and parallel holes to each other. In wedge cut, angled holes are provided. So, a wedge is formed in between and then the material is take out and a wedge shape, then gradually the wedge is widened and finally the complete shape is excavated. We will see the design consideration in our later class. Now, this is the machineries, how these are used. Let us have how the excavation procedure is carried out. This is a jumbo drill, it is a single boom jumbo. You can see this jumbo can drill in any dimension, it can up to this height it can excavate. This is the starting of the opening of the drilling for an adit. So, the material here is removed, a platform is made for standing of the machines and the first drilling has to be see the angle can be decided by the operator. So, all the angle can be provided. So, now it is starting the drilling, you can see the holes are drilled. Now, the drilling is carried out using the jumbo drill. So, this is automatically drilling is carried out. This is the flushing media, water is used as the flushing media here. Occasionally compressed air are also used as the flushing media. The jumbo drill can be used for 32 mm to 100 mm dia holes, but if the large dia holes are being drilled, in those cases the reaming is carried out. So, first say smaller dia holes are drilled, then the reamer bit is used, where in the same hole the diameter is basically extended using the reamer bit. So, the reaming of the diameters are basically carried out. So, for a large dia drilling, generally number of bits are used. So, same hole has to be drilled in a number of occasions, so that the large dia drilling can be achieved. So, it may be like that, first the 38 mm drilling is carried out, then the 56 mm is carried out, and finally, the 76 mm is carried out, or 91 mm is carried out as the drilling dia. So, that is called reaming of holes. And you can see this is automatically completely drilling will be carried out, and then it will stop automatically and it will return back the drill rod. So, this is drilling. Now, you let us look into the how the blasting is carried out. So, these are the holes made. This is a animated picture. This is available in the YouTube. We charge those holes. See, these holes are charged. Then this is that is the primer. After that, this Gurit cartridge is entered, or we can use a simple normal cartridge also. Then the initiation is given. So, this after initiation this will explode. So, fragmentation occurred and the gas pressure will throw the fragmented rocks. Occasionally, we can have a large dimension of adit. In those cases, we may go for two stage excavation. Suppose we are having an adit of large size. Generally, in Indian mining condition we do not have large size adits because we are having our smaller dimension machines, but say in some mines where large wagons etc. are used, in those cases we need large dimension, and if the large dimension is there, say suppose this is 7-meter height, in those cases it cannot be excavated in one go. What we carry out, we take out the excavation at this place first. So this is excavated as say stage 1 excavation. This allows, because as the roof is within our control, after excavation we go for supporting the roofs. We go for supporting the roofs using the bolts etc. Then we blast this one in the second stage. So what we do in this case, this is as this is already excavated, that means if you are looking at the section, this is the say first 3 meter is excavated here, this top part stage 1, and this is the remaining 4 meter is there in the stage 2. In those cases we go for benching of this one using the vertical holes, and we go for blasting this one. So, this is one such practice is showing here. So, one such practice is showing here where benching is carried out in this case. And this is different safety requirement has to be carried out during the blasting process. The entry of the adit has to be closed, so that any other other people cannot see. Charging is in progress, no one can enter there. So, as the charging is carried out, there is a board and there is a blockage of road is carried out, so that no one can enter into the face except the authorized people. See, this is firing is going on. So, we have closed this one, the area is closed, no one is allowed to enter into this. So, these are the different safety features, safety requirement has to be followed while the blasting is carried out in the adit, and you see from a distance this explosion has to be carried out. So, after the checking the circuit, then the signaling has to be made, and finally, the blasting will be carried out. So, from where the blaster will blast, he will take care of the roof also, so that any material cannot comes onto him or fall down on him. And this is the how the operation is being progressed. See how the marking is carried out. This is called LHD, load haul dump, which is taking the mark and moving out. Either it is dumping the material on a low profile dump truck, and this can be carried out remotely also by a remote operator, or it can be manually operated here. This is the ventilation duct, you can see. So, this is a remote controlled LHD, where the person from the surface itself is controlling this one. The same, if the operator is there, the same operating controls are given in the cabin itself. Even if this remote controlled one has the two modes, it can be operated remotely, it can be operated on the site itself also. So, these are the joystick based operations. and here the LHD is taking the material directly moving out from the face and dumping it in the outside the adit. So, now if we are looking at the sequence of operation, you can see first we are basically carrying out the drilling and using there may be a jumbo drills or maybe the manual drilling we are carrying out. So, after drilling we go for charging those holes using the explosive, then we blast and create an opening there. So, the blasting is carried out as the second operation, and after blasting there is an intermediate operation before this marking, that is the roof scaling. So, after blasting there may be some loose rocks in the roof. So, the manual scaling has to be carried out using with the inspection of the human being from a with experienced eye, they carried out scaling. So, that any loose material in the roof has to be dropped down by hitting onto them. So, that the roof will act as the competent rock. Here two important part is that one is stand up time. I must write here one is stand up time, that how much an unsupported roof can stand without any support, that is called standard time. Second one is unsupported span, maximum allowable unsupported span, That means, if there is an opening and we have provided support up to this, then what is the maximum distance after the last line of support it is allowed, that is called unsupported span. So, these two are important, and based on that we have to decide what is to be carried out. After that roof scaling, we provide the marking and also the roof support. Depending on this whether marking will be carried out, generally we provide the roof support ahead of the marking. Then there are different types of method of marking. This is LHD, this is another type of LHD. So, these are different machines are used for carrying out marking, and then we go for extending the ventilation ducts and different other fittings, these are extended. So, in general this is the chronology of the unit operations carried out in an horizontal opening like adit. And next important one is the continuous excavation method. We are having continuous excavation method, generally two machines we use, one is rod header, another is called TBM. TBM is basically a large dia drilling machine, but as TBM is very costly and its mantling and dismantling times are very high, generally for a short length operation, excavation operation, we do not deploy tunnel boring machine TBM. Generally rod header, which is a small machine, a small excavator, generally we adopt this rod headers in the excavation, and in that case rod header can be accommodated with a belt conveyor, chain conveyor or slurry pipeline system depending on the application. In semi continuous system, a rod header can be accommodated with the other types of transporting medium. So, TBM is generally not practiced. This is one rod header photographs. Now, let us look into the operation of a rod header here. So, this is the rod header. You can see there is a cutting boom ahead, the boom is rotating and it is excavating the material which is coming here. There are two arm loader which is taking the material and dropping that material onto the chain conveyor provided there. So, you can see there is a chain conveyor in between, and in this chain conveyor this gathering arm is basically shifting the material into the chain conveyor. Chain conveyor is finally discharging the material on a discharge conveyor, and in discharge conveyor, that is a belt conveyor, that may discharge either to another chain conveyor if it is a continuous transportation system, or the discharge conveyor can discharge the material on a shuttle car or low profile dump truck or whatever is the means of transfer system that is can be adopted there. So, this is basically a cutting system, and you can see the continuously machine is cutting to the full dimension operation, and this can be remotely controlled also, and this is very well, as the blasting is not carried out, the remaining rock, the roof rock is not damaged a lot. So, that is a better facility provided in this cutting system. The moment we reach the unsupported span length, we stop the rod header operation and we take it back little bit. We allow the manpower to enter into the face, provide the support system to the roof. It may be generally we practice for either a shotcrete support, or we go for the roof bolting systems. These are the supports provided in most of the times, and after supporting again we allow the rod header to operate there. So, by this way, using a rod header we achieve a progress of around 100 meter per month. That much progress is possible with the adopting of rod header. There are cases in the soft rock condition more than 120 meters are also achieved as the progress for per month in the rod header system. So, these are very productive system that is adopted, and as the cutting system is there, the boulder size which is formed is a very small size boulders, and that is why those are very easily conveyable. And this is the exhaust ventilation system provided, so that whatever dust is coming out, that is taken by this exhaust ventilation system, and the vent that is given to the bag filter, and dusts are collected. Along with that, water spraying is also carried out during the cutting. So, this is a continuous system provided for excavation, and this is the transportation system. A chain conveyor system, a belt conveyor system can be adopted along with the rod header or TBM type of continuous mining system. So, that is the main construction system of the horizontal opening like adit. We will go into the details of designing and performance analysis while we will discuss the underground to underground horizontal driving system. We will go into the details of this excavation system. Thank you.